There is something that cannot be explained in words every time the camera captures Jungkook and Taehyung in the same frame. Their gazes, the small smiles that appear for no reason, and body language that feels too natural to be mere friendship. But this time, there is something different, something deeper, and many fans believe Jungkook already knew this would happen. When the two of them were on the same stage, the atmosphere felt strange. Not in a negative way, but as if there was something hidden behind their smiles. Jungkook seemed a little quieter than usual, while Taehyung tried to remain cheerful as if nothing had happened. However, the eyes can never lie. There was a burden that Jungkook was hiding, and only the two of them knew what it was. Fans who watched that moment over and over again began to notice small details. The way Jungkook looked at Taehyung longer than usual, then looked down as if hiding something. There was a hint of sadness in his smile, as if he knew that something between them was about to change. That the happy moments they had shared for years might not always be the same. Over the years, Taekook fans have grown accustomed to seeing how Jungkook pays attention to Taehyung in a way he doesn't with anyone else. From small things like making sure Taehyung was comfortable on stage, to looking at his face when he laughed, everything felt sincere. But this time, the gaze was different, not because of lost love, but because of understanding. Jungkook knew something was changing, and he couldn't stop it. There was a moment when Taehyung looked back at him, trying to smile, but the smile felt fragile. Jungkook just looked at him with gentle eyes, as if to say, "I know, and it's okay." Only the two of them understood the meaning behind that gaze. And for the fans watching, it all felt like a piece of a love story that was slowly changing direction. In front of the camera, they remained professional, laughing, joking, interacting as usual. But true fans knew the smiles weren't the same as before. There was a palpable distance, as if they were trying to protect something too precious to talk about. Taehyung tried to lighten the mood, but Jungkook only responded with a small smile that seemed heavier than words. And behind the scenes, many say Jungkook looks calmer than usual, but not in a happy way, rather resigned. As if he already knows that their relationship, whatever form it takes, is heading into a new chapter. Fans begin to wonder, does Jungkook already know that moments like these will soon change? In a viral fancam video, Jungkook was seen staring at Taehyung for quite a while, then taking a deep breath before smiling. It wasn't a cheerful smile, but more like a gentle farewell smile. Some armies even wrote in the comments, "It's like Jungkook already knew what was coming." He looked like he accepted it. And maybe that's true. Jungkook isn't the type of person who easily talks about his feelings. He expresses them through small actions, through his gaze, through his smile, through the way he takes care of someone without having to say a single word. So when his reaction is so calm, maybe that's a sign that he has accepted something difficult. Despite the rumors and speculation, one thing remains clear. The connection between Jungkook and Taehyung has never truly disappeared. There is a meaningful silence between them, a distance that actually shows how deep their relationship is. Sometimes love doesn't always have to be shown with hugs or words. It's enough to understand each other in silence. And that is where their strength lies. Taekook always has a way of making the world pause for a moment with just one glance. No matter how many changes come, or how far the distance stretches, there is always something between them that cannot be explained, something that even time cannot erase. Many fans have noticed that even though their schedules are now different, the energy that emerges every time their names are mentioned remains the same. Every time Jungkook talks about the people who make him feel safe, Taehyung always feels present in that context, even without his name being mentioned. Likewise, when Taehyung talks about someone who always understands him without saying much, fans know who he means. That connection doesn't need acknowledgement, because it's too obvious to hide. In various situations, even when they seem distant, small signals between them remain. A fleeting glance, a smile that appears at the same time, or a spontaneous reaction when each other's names are mentioned. All of these become a secret language that only they understand. To some, it may seem ordinary, but to those who pay attention with their hearts, it is the most honest form of communication that only two souls bound together can share. And perhaps that is what makes their relationship so special. No matter how hard the world tries to separate or speculate, Taehyung and Jungkook always find a way to connect, whether through songs, glances, or even in the silence behind the stage. Love like that doesn't need a big stage to shine, because it already lives between their heartbeats, quiet but eternal. Perhaps Jungkook knew that this phase of their lives would take them in different directions. But he also knew that every moment they had shared was part of a story that would never truly end. His reaction was not a sign of loss, but a sign of acceptance. That whatever happened, they had once had something so sincere and real. The fans felt it too. When Jungkook looked at Taehyung for the last time that night with a gentle gaze, everyone knew. He had known from the beginning that love, in any form, doesn't always have to be held tightly. Sometimes, it's enough to just let it live in the heart. For Jungkook and Taehyung, every laugh, hug, and small moment they shared together has become a memory etched in their hearts. No matter how much time passes, those memories always resurface in the simplest of ways, like when one of them mentions an old BTS song or brings up the struggles of their early training days. Behind all that, there is a gentle sense of nostalgia, as if they are embracing the past without having to say it in words. There is also a belief among fans that the two have made a silent promise, a promise that has never been spoken, but feels real. A promise to take care of each other, even when they no longer walk side by side on every stage. A promise to always remember that they once were each other's home amidst the noisy glitz and glamour of the world. And that is what makes their connection feel so deep, because it is built not from words, but from feelings that transcend time. And even though life has taken them in different directions, the memories of those days remain alive in the hearts of fans. When Jungkook sings with emotion, or when Taehyung smiles with a distant gaze, everyone knows those memories are still there. They may no longer look at each other the same way, but that promise, a promise born from pure togetherness, will always be a part of them. A silent but eternal memory. Perhaps this is why every small interaction between Jungkook and Taehyung feels so emotional. Because they don't just share moments, they share souls. And even though they may walk different paths, there is a part of them that will always find each other, wherever they are. Jungkook didn't cry. He didn't show his sadness in public. But his reaction, the calm gaze, the small, indescribable smile, said it all. He already knew. And he chose to honor it all in the most beautiful way possible, silently, but full of love. Do you feel it too, Army? That behind every smile from Jungkook and Taehyung, there is always a story much deeper than what can be seen on screen?